Hola, bienvenidos a Lightspeed Spanish. Today I'm going to share with you something very important, and it's why most people who start to learn Spanish or any other language fail. And I'm going to share with you how to avoid it. If you are planning on learning Spanish in 2026 or continuing to learn Spanish in 2026. Hablamos de todo en la segunda parte.
Ojalá tuviera yo un español más decente.
So why do people start learning a language? What makes them want to learn Spanish? Well, the idea is that they can become fluent. Everybody wants to be fluent. If you're going to learn a language, you want to be fluent. So why is it that between 70 and 90% of all people who start to learn a language drop out, fail, give up? Well, the first thing that happens to us is that we are absolutely, totally motivated. We throw ourselves into it. We want to learn this and that, and we're doing loads and loads and loads and loads of stuff. And then what happens is that initial drive, that initial motivation starts to peter out. And we look and we say, hang on a minute, I've been given this welly for the 3 months, but I still can't even make a sentence. I can only say, hola, ¿qué tal? Very well. But beyond that, I'm struggling. So the first mistake that we make when we're learning a language is our time frame. It's the time frame that we have in our mind about how long this will take. So let me just put the timeline into your mind. To have a get by in Spanish, just getting by in Spanish, you're probably going to need 2 years. To get to a point where you can have a conversation with people, actually interact with people, you're probably going to need about 5 years. And to speak Spanish beautifully, you're probably going to need the rest of your life. Right, now I know that might sound like bad news, but I promise you that it isn't. There are tons of little gifts that you get along the way when you're learning Spanish. It seems like a long time, but learning a language is a lifetime's work. And so that's the first thing that you have to do, is say, hey, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it for the long run. The second mistake that people make is that they start to learn by using apps. Or they pick up a book and they start learning by writing and reading. Error de los grandes. Why is it an error? It's not that it's wrong. The apps are great. The books are great. But when we learn a language by speaking it and hearing it, speaking it and hearing it. How many children of 2, 3, 4 and 5 years old do you see sitting in a corner doing a grammar book? None. Children learn language by hearing it and speaking it. That's it. And so what you have to do if you really want to learn a language is that you have to spend at least half of the time that you spend listening and repeating, listening and repeating. Another common mistake that we all make, and I made it too, is just to learn a load of vocab. Learn lots of words, and there are tons of ways that you can learn them. You know, there are great systems to learn them. We offer a system on Lightspeed Spanish. If you look into what we offer, how to link words into your mind. Brilliant. But then, what on earth are you going to do with them? Learning random words with no context, with no way of joining them up, is a little bit of a misdirection. You see, learning a language is like making a cake, if we're going to use that metaphor. So the bulk of the cake is flour, typically. And let's say that's your vocab. Beautiful. You need loads of vocab. If you haven't got the words, you can't say. But then there are some eggs and there's some butter and there's some sugar. You need all of the other things to help to join it, to blend it together. Vocab on its own just means that you can stand there and shout 100 words in Spanish. And that doesn't do anybody any good. Another mistake that we make is learning passively. Trying to learn passively. What is learning passively? Well, learning passively is saying, hey, I'm going to sit and I'm going to watch all of the Netflix series in Spanish. And I'm just going to sit there and watch it. Passive. Passive learning. Okay, it works, but it's slow. So what's the answer? The answer is active learning. And what is active learning? Active learning is this. I'm going to watch all of the series of Netflix in Spanish, and I'm going to stop a screen and I'm going to read and copy what they're saying. I'm going to read the subtitles and repeat what they're saying. That's active. Aviso. Active learning is not as enjoyable as passive learning. Active learning takes the joy out of the series. Active learning takes the joy out of a book when you read a book out loud, when you read the subtitles out loud. You are not going to enjoy the series as much as you are if you just sat and watched it. But as the expression goes, si no hay presión, no hay diamantes. No pressure, no diamonds. You're not here to entertain yourself. You're here to learn a language, and that demands work. And so what you can do is you can watch one series for pleasure, and you can work with one series actively for non-pleasure. You can read a book for pleasure in your head, and then you can read a book out loud for non-pleasure to improve your Spanish. Do active learning and try to avoid too much passive learning. Another mistake that we make is relying on our motivation to get us through. No, doesn't work. It only works for a period of time. In the honeymoon period, when you're learning Spanish and you're so excited and you're so motivated, oh, lovely. And then suddenly your motivation disappears. You have a few down days. It's hard. You try to have a conversation, you can't speak, and your motivation goes flat. What's the answer? The answer is this: build up routines. The routines are what are going to get you through the years of learning. Make sure that you do certain things every day, and every day you do them. All you need to do to build up a routine is to do it for about 30 days at the same time, the same way, and then after that your mind takes over, and you don't need to find the motivation because your mind will make you do it. Oh, it's reading out loud time. Oh, it's talking to my friends in Spanish time. Get a routine and it will serve you for the rest of your life. And then the last mistake that we make is that we try to do it alone. We try to learn alone, and that's great. I like learning alone. I like it. However, the way that you can help yourself is by surrounding yourself with people of a like mind, making friends with other learners. How do you do that? Well, we've got a beautiful Telegram chat group where you can come and you can learn with other people, and you can share your ideas, share your frustrations, ask questions, join groups where you are with people who are doing the same thing. That motivates you. That keeps you going on the days where you think, I just can't do this alone. Puedes hacerlo. Sí puedes. Pero necesitas un poco de ayuda. Y aquí estamos en Lightspeed Spanish para ayudaros. We have a brand new website page, and it's very easy to access all of the free content, all of the free lessons that we've made over the last 15 years. If you're a beginner, we've got lessons for beginners. If you're early intermediate, there are lessons there. Advanced intermediate or advanced. There's something there for everybody. Bueno, chicos, el año en el que vamos a aprender español. Y estamos con vosotros. Hasta luego, adiós.